Hello everybody. Yellowstone's return to the TV has become the biggest highlight of the week so far. After making us wait for a year and a half, the series did us a favor and released 2 episodes at once, both of which are at the highest quality. Thanks to these episodes, we not only got to get some answers on the troubling incidents of the last season, but also introduced to some new characters that will be critical figures this season. In the first episode of the season, we witnessed all of our theories being wronged by the showrunners. None of the Duttons got killed off, and we had the pleasure to watch John, Kayce and Beth all injured but still alive and somewhat healthy. Then we saw that Beth is highly suspicious of Jamie and decided to take her revenge on him. Nevertheless, it's clear that there is no clue on who did the attacks for sure, and thus, everyone tries to learn whatever they can and complete the puzzle by bringing the pieces together, especially John, who spent the 2 months after the attacks in a hospital sleeping, is still struggling to understand the scale of the attacks as well as who might be the exact enemy. The second episode, titled Phantom Pain, takes the topic from this point on. John, who denies that he needs to rest to properly heal, rides toward the mountains despite the fact that his stitches leak. Seeing him from afar, Kayce decides to go to him to warn him about his health. The two end up enjoying the waters in the mountain. After the ambiguous atmosphere of the previous episode, John finally makes his intention on the attacks clear by letting Kayce know that they will kill every single one of the attackers. He tells Kayce that he is a good man, but sometimes a good man has to do some bad things. John also mentions the fact that Beth thinks Jamie is the one to blame. However, Kayce states that he wouldn't do that to the family. John states that then they have to test Jamie by wanting the warrants from him, since his response will clarify whether Jamie is with them or not. Jamie, on the other hand, buys a new ranch. His biological father, Garrett, encourages him to do so by saying that he can get rid of the influence of a house only by buying a new one for himself. The seller, knowing that Jamie is from the Yellowstone ranch originally, tells him that he thought the Yellowstone ranch was in a bad shape, but he must have been wrong since Jamie is expanding the ranch by buying a new one. At that point, Jamie corrects him immediately by saying that he is buying this ranch for himself, not for Yellowstone. Meanwhile, we see Beth meeting with her ex-bosses from Schwartz and Mayers. She is in an apparently manic mood as she enters the restaurant. The passive aggressiveness dominates the entire scene, but mostly Beth herself. The Schwartz and Mayers demanded deals similar to a confidentiality agreement, since Beth has no relation with them anymore. Her ex-boss states that she needs to be careful as they can ruin her as the bigger bears. His bluff does not work on Beth as she makes it clear that she is the one who is a force to be reckoned with and she will make them sorry for their actions. "I made you millions and you quit me when my family was struggling," Beth said, with anger and disappointment. Nevertheless, Beth, once again, took the lead as the most iconic character of the show. While everybody was assuming that Yellowstone Ranch is losing blood and influence, John decides to open the ranch to the world by realizing that no one knows they exist outside of Montana. Thus, he orders one of his cowboys to do some marketing work for the ranch by traveling around. Even though Kayce warns him that such a mission will cost them a lot, and they might not be able to afford it, John tells him that they no longer can afford to remain as secluded as they already are. John also decides to send Jimmy, who is still recovering, with the cowboy as well. The news isn't welcomed by Jimmy, but he has no other option, since he broke his promise to John and has to be punished for it. The news is delivered by Rip to Jimmy. Apart from delivering news, Rip was also busy with the trouble that Beth brought home. The trouble is the boy that Beth met in the hospital before. Since he has no place to go, he tells the officers that Beth is his guardian. So Beth decides to give the decision to whether or not to keep the boy to Rip. When Rip sees the kid, he gets angry and puts him in the basement to stay. The next day, he decides to leave the boy on the road and does it for real. However, then he returns and decides to give him a chance. The boy becomes a part of the Yellowstone Ranch, and despite the bias towards him, he proves that he listens to the advice and is determined to do anything and have a place to stay in the future. Last but not least, we also get introduced to the CEO of the biggest investment country in the world as she comes to inspect the airport construction in Montana. The fact that the construction stops due to the findings of some Indian artifacts in the area pisses her off. She talks with Thomas, offers him to build an international casino in the region with their funds in return for enabling the construction to resume. It's clear that she doesn't like Montana and finds these things stupid. It's also clear that she isn't exactly a reliable actor and ready to shake Montana up. That's the official wrap-up for The Phantom Pain. Have you enjoyed the episode? What do you expect from the next episode of the series? Let us know what you think in the comments below. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.